Hi, it's Stan in Willoway. Here in December, we've got a lot of different things in the nursery going on. Today, we're going to look at one of those aspects, which is we do a lot of seeding, perennial seeding. Right now, we're doing echinacea, some coneflower, and asclepias are probably the big targets, but we have a number of other perennials we do in some smaller batches as well. We've kind of upticked here at Willoway a little bit with their new seeder that we got last year. We're continuing to work with that and dial it in more and more. A couple of things that we've done to improve the system this year is we originally set it up with this LE tray. It's a 72 tray. They come in pallets like this already pre-filled. So we have it here, and then the flow would be into the machine, runs across the machine, so it dibbles here, and then the seed gets dropped in here. It comes out the other end, and then we put the trays on our cart that we have. It's rollable. So we custom fabricated this so we can take this out into the greenhouse here and be able to deposit a bunch of plants at once without carrying them two at a time. So it's real important for us this year to try to make some improvements, kind of have better flow of the machine, gain more efficiencies that way. So that's really what we've been working on this year, is really dialing in the process. With our cocoa seeder, so we put a tray, our LE tray on, comes up to the first, there's a stop. There's an electric eye, so it senses where the tray is at. That calibrates the whole system. It comes to the next station, which is the dibbler here, which will actually put a little like dibble into each cell. It's set up for 72s. As it advances along, it's running the pace at the seeding for the tray. So as we move to the output side of things, we'll come into the seeder. And the seeds pick up their needle seeder and drops down each one of the cells. We're just dropping one seed. We have different programs. We can have it drop 2 seeds at a time. We can have it drop, or it go to the same dip line twice and drop a seed each time. After we get it out, then we throw it onto our tray here, finished, and we'd roll it out into down the line to where we're going to set them out on the floor. We do some frost blanket or harvest guard over them to help with germination, keeping humidity up around the seeds. And then we obviously have our boom and our floor heats running at 72 degrees in here, or 73 degrees usually underneath the cells. So we're right in that range generally. That bottom heat helps with germination. Then we have mist that goes over the top so that we don't get them too wet or stay too wet, but we want them to germinate, not dry out. Hi, it's Stan at Willoway again. Talk a little bit about some of our stuff that we do in the winter. URC's unrooted cuttings. We get them from a lot of different sources. We've got lavender here, and we've got caladium here. So these were all stuck in the last about 2 to 3 weeks. So they're just starting to get a little bit of root to them. So they'll come out as a plug. So this is what we start our lavender plants with. So it just comes from a trimming that's off the top. We stick it into this, and then we put mist on it, some rooting hormone, and basically kind of nurse them along to getting rooting going. And what we found is some of the callus in the lavender can take some of our rooting time off of up to about 5 to 10 days. For the pre-calloused when you buy in the lavender. If it's not, then we got a little bit longer. We found in these LE trays, which are the same way we do in seeding. Water management's a little different. When we have peat, we have to watch with the watering. There's a little different watering mechanism. The peat kind of wicks the moisture up and out a little bit faster. So on some plants it works a little bit better. And then you can see we have some other perennials behind me. And so we do a number of things. This is kind of a slow part right now for our URCs. You can see what we built up with lavender when we go into the next place we're going to shoot at. Hi, we moved out to some of our older lavender we have finished. A couple differences. This has been canned up since September, it was stuck in September. What you can see is we've got a really well-developed branching. We've mowed this several times. We actually developed a mower. It's a battery powered, and it's on a rail system, and they push it back and forth over the flats. So we can get a very uniform look to them, but we want to get a lot of breaks. So once they start to get up to about that 5-inch mark, we'll trim it back down, and then we kind of keep hitting it a couple times to get a lot of breaks low. You can see we've got roots all the way through to the bottom, and the plugs come out relatively easily and intact. So that's kind of things we look for. This crop actually is getting ready to be, we'll shift these to gallons starting in January, about mid-January, and we'll continue on through into spring. This is really our spring crop that we have ready. We used to do a lot of URC lavenders. Between Christmas and New Year's was one of our big windows for sticking. We used around 40,000 URCs of lavender at that time for our coming up. And usually in the winter, we're about a 12-week crop on this. In summer, we're about 8 weeks. So we figured we changed things around and did it in the fall, and we've got a lot better success, and we're kind of storing the flats until we get into this canning mode. And then we'll turn the heat up and get them starting to come for spring sales.